I'm bigcal, and welcome to my world. Well, it is not the end of the month or DIY gaming box time just yet. However, I do have a large box full of games to show off in this nice, fancy my Nintendo box. Anyway, so yeah, it's just a box with all games to show off in this pickups video. And this one is a pretty big pickups video because it's just a bunch of everything that I've had for the last few months. Normally I would split these up into separate videos based on a theme, but because we're getting to the end of the year now, I just want to get everything out there, show it all off in a big video, and then I can start 2024 nice and fresh, and I've not got random piles of games sat over here and sat over there, like, oh, I need to wait until I get another couple of games before I can show those off, or I haven't got a theme for those games just yet. Nope, just going to show everything off in the video, so get ready, it's going to be a big one. Right then, let's get this box opened, and the first thing is a NES controller. Yay! Basically I just needed a new one. The D-pad on the one that I've been using for years now on my NES is starting to go a bit soft and spongy and just doesn't work very well. So because I do play my NES quite often, especially with Dragon Quest Tober, there's only one more Dragon Quest game to do on the NES for Dragon Quest Tober 4 next year, but yeah, I still play the NES a lot, so definitely needed a new controller to add to that. So picked one up. I think I got it from Doorway to Darkness in Doncaster. Yeah, I just ordered it online, didn't go through. Yeah, very nice. Only cost $5.99. Can't really go wrong with that. NES controller, excellent condition, works lovely. Right, games over there. Oh, we have some PSP UMD discs I got at the same time I ordered that, just to, you know, add to the collection, and so I wasn't just buying one random thing on the website. So first up is Ace Ventura, Pet Detective on UMD for the PSP. Yep, Ace Ventura, very funny film. And the Punisher collection, which includes the Punisher and Punisher Warzone. The Punisher from 2004 with Thomas Jane, and Punisher Warzone with Ray Stevenson, who sadly passed away this year. I do already have just the Punisher on its own on UMD. The only thing with these is that it's not the extended version. I think I had to import a DVD from America to get the full extended version of the film, which is considerably better and one of my favourite superhero films, especially from that time period. It often gets looked over, but I think it's fantastic. Punisher Warzone, I didn't really care for that much, but when Ray Stevenson passed, I made an effort to re-watch the film, and I kind of viewed it in a different light this time, and not thinking it was just going to be a sequel to The Punisher from 2004, because it's not, it's completely different, and it's just a big, crazy, violent mess, but in a good way. It's fun. You know, which is crazy considering all the murders and brutality in it. But yeah, it's a fun film. So yeah, gone both on UMD there. So yeah, those are some UMD films. Now we have a PSP Vita game. Don't own the system. Can't play this game. Even if I did own the system, the game's in Japanese. So yeah, there is English versions, but they're more expensive. I picked this up just for my collection because I love the game series, and that is The Legend of Heroes, Trails of Cold Steel 2. Yeah, it's just Cold Steel 2, but on the Vita and in Japanese. So I don't have the system to play it, and I don't understand Japanese to play it either. But I do own Cold Steel 1 and 2 on the old PlayStation 4 here, so yeah, play them whenever I want to. And with a new Trails game coming out next summer, there's a good chance I'm going to replay all the Trails games leading up to it again, because I'm just obsessed with the game series. So nice to add to the Trails collection. Ooh, how about now a Famicom game? I've had this for months, and I just never got around to finding a video theme to put it in. I have some stuff now that it could fit in with, but yeah, whatever. And I don't know the name of it offhand. All I know is it's King Kong 2. Yeah, it's a King Kong game made by Konami. and it's really quite fun. You go around as King Kong, you can punch things, you can jump, and when you land, it smashes things. You can break things to get items, you can get rocks that you can throw at enemies, or you get hearts to replace your health. And it's kind of like maze-like, you're going through all these different areas, and basically you've been captured, but you break out because you realise that the female King Kong that exists has been captured as well, so you're on your way to find her. And, fuck the government who's standing in your way. Smash them to pieces. Yeah, so King Kong 2 on the Famicom. Really fun game. Right, what else should we go with next? Okay, kind of a boring game, but one that interests me is for the American Super Nintendo. The cartridge is a bit beat up and broken a bit at the top, and you can see it's all yellowed on that side. But on this side it's nice, and that is Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition. I've been collecting quiz games and TV show games. This falls under that category, of course. Wheel of Fortune, you spin a wheel, you choose some letters, you try and guess the word puzzle. Yeah, and it looks and runs fairly decently on the Super Nintendo back in the day. Not bad, although I had a bit of trouble with the controls. I was pressing what I thought was the right button. It was doing something else. It's like, what's happening here? At one point, when I got to the end of the first puzzle, it's like, I know what this is now. So I went to guess it. I put in the first letter. It told me that letter was wrong. So the computer took over, did a guess as well, put in the same letters as me, and got it right. So I must have pressed something wrong at some point where it's just like, nah, you screwed up. No idea. But yeah, Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition on the Super Nintendo, the American version. We'll go with that, keeping with quiz games, game show games, things like that. I have, despite the fact that DIY Gaming Box this month is Master System, I picked this up before I'd spun the wheel last month, so I wasn't going to include this because while no one else would know that it was cheating, I would know, and yeah, so bought a game separately for that, and this one still here. Trivial Pursuit Genius Edition for the Sega Master System. Nice. Oh, cartridge falling out. Completing box as well. And yeah, it's Trivial Pursuit, and it's really well made. There's like little animated cutscenes and things when you waiting for your question and stuff like that. Obviously there's no voice acting, it's all done through text, but it's colourful, it's bright, there's lots of stuff here. Yeah, and I did fairly well with some of the questions as well. Didn't actually know the answers, I just guessed, but I was doing quite well. So yeah, Trivial Pursuit Genius Edition. Okay. Ooh, what will we pick out next? We'll go with some Super Famicom games. These could have, of course, gone with the Famicom game with some Japanese pickups collection, but yeah, whatever. And these are the Dragon Ball Z fighting games for the Super Famicom. I can't offhand remember the actual name of them, but yeah, I have 1, 2, and 3. And of course, they all go through the different eras. So yeah, fighting games, people really like these ones. I gotta be honest, for the bit I played of all of them, they all play the same, and I didn't really have fun because I had no idea what I was doing. You have a punch button, a kick button, a jump button, a shoot a tiny energy ball button, and a flying to the sky button. And I couldn't figure out how to do anything else. I was trying button combinations from other fighting games, just randomly smashing the Super Nintendo controller in hopes of doing something. Nope, wasn't getting it, but I'm sure if I looked up a guide online and find out how to do it, I might have more fun if I know what the bloody hell I'm doing. Yeah, so 3 games. They are incredibly cheap still from Japan. You can even buy them over here. Incredibly cheap, you don't have to import them. I just did because I was buying some other games. Yeah. So, yeah, Dragon Ball Z fighting games. No fighters, but I'm sure there's fun to be had if you know what you're doing. Okay. Really random, weird pickup now. From McDonald's in China, I think it was. Yeah, they released these little chicken nuggets with Tetris on them. Tetris and a chicken McNugget. yeah, I'll have some footage of me close up, playing the game. Yeah, it's got the sound and everything. It's not particularly great, but what do you expect from a chicken nugget that plays Tetris? It's not going to be fantastic, but it's decent enough. It's Tetris. It's kind of hard to screw up basic Tetris. So yeah, it's just a little, an interesting little pickup I thought I'd buy, because I was surprised at how many there were on eBay from English sellers, and how cheap they were as well. I was looking, someone mentioned it and brought it up months ago before I bought it. It's like, oh, that looks cool, but I bet it's expensive. I had a quick check on eBay. It's like, okay, it is not expensive, and everyone seems to have billions of them to sell. So, just an interesting add to the collection. Tetris on a chicken McNugget. Sadly, the box is a bit bashed up, but yeah, what are you going to do? Okay, we'll go for another random weird pickup, and can't actually show any gameplay of this because I don't actually own the game for it. It's an accessory for the game. So for anyone out there who watches other gaming YouTubers, such as the Angry Video Game Nerd and Rerez did a video on this as well, there was a thing in the mid-90s known as the Hyperscan system. A little fold-out system. You put a game in, and then you would get packs of cards to swipe during gameplay to do different things. If it was a fighting game, you could unlock characters. You would use them to unlock certain moves and things like that. In platformers, you get items, health, whatever. And of course, one of the games for it was a wrestling game called Interstellar Wrestling League. Called a wrestling game, it's kind of a fighting game anyway, yeah. But buying the system is expensive, and who knows if it's even going to work. Buying the games are even more expensive, and good luck finding this particular one. I've only seen it on eBay once, and it was over £100. Yeah, so no. But this, though, is a sealed, still unopened pack of booster cards for Interstellar Wrestling League. So I just thought it was a nice novelty. It didn't cost me too much. There's only 6 cards in it though. Who knows what's exactly inside. I have no intentions of ever opening it unless I randomly end up with a Hyperscan and a copy of the game. Probably never going to happen. My hunt for collecting all the wrestling games probably going to get to a certain point where it's like I can buy no more because they're too expensive and I refuse to pay that much for garbage. Yeah. So yeah, just interesting. Just a novelty item for my wrestling game collection. Whee! Okay, some little handheld things. We have a Game Boy game, and that is Tiny Toon Adventures Bab's Big Break. So Babs Bunny decides to go off to Hollywood, and apparently has to platform all the way there and defeat enemies and things like that. So yeah, it's just a fun platformer game from the time. You can also switch characters. Different characters have different weapons and abilities and things like that. I didn't switch between any of the other two because I didn't realise it was a thing at the start because it never really told you. I just came across Dizzy, which is Taz's son. Maybe, I don't know, yeah, he's a Tasmanian, he's called Dizzy. You run into him underground, he's like, oh, I'll join you and smash rocks. So you get to another part of the level, he's like, yep, I'll make a tunnel for you by going really, really fast and spinning through the earth. And he does, and it's fun. Yeah, decent enough, the 2D platformer. I had fun with it. Yeah, can't really go wrong. Then we have, again, adding to the whole TV game, show game, quiz game thingies, I got Who Wants to Be a Millionaire? On the Game Boy Advance. And all things considering, it's really good on the Game Boy Advance. There is no voice acting, there's no Chris Tarrant from the UK version, or was it Regis Philbin at the time, did the American version. Nothing like that. There are no people in the game, you don't select a character. In fact, I didn't even remember there being a title screen. I remember putting the game in, it loaded up, went through all the different companies and that are involved making it, and then next thing I know, I'm answering the first question. Very odd. And I did rather well on my first go. I got up to the £64,000 question. Lost on that question, but the fact that I got up that way on my first time is insane. Normally I'll lose within the first few questions unless I use lifelines. So yeah, Who Wants to Be a Millionaire on the handheld. It does a perfectly fine job of being Who Wants to Be a Millionaire. So, no complaints from me there. Okie dokie, an import game now for my original Xbox collection. I had to import this from America because it never came out here in Europe, and it's one that I've been wanting because I'm fascinated by the mafia and things like that. And this one is Chicago Enforcer, set in Chicago, obviously, and set during the Al Capone days. You are now working for him, and yeah, the first mission is to go and interrogate someone who happens to know where a rat might be hiding out, so you can go kill him. Fun and family friendly. Yeah, so first person shooter, if I remember. Yeah, first person. Unfortunately, the game just kind of throws you in, doesn't teach you any controls, no tutorial, no nothing. I guess I have to read that old instruction manual that thankfully came with it. But yeah, you got thrown in, and you immediately have three guys in front of you shooting at you, and you can die very quickly and very easily. I didn't know if there was a crouch button. I still don't know if you can hide behind things or anything. Yeah, so I died fairly quickly, and then I realised after I died, oh, there's an explosive barrel there, so that's an easy way to get rid of those three. But as you go on, you'll get to a point where you open a shutter door, and as soon as it's open, two guys are there blasting you, and yeah, I never made it past those. I had a couple of attempts, didn't really do it. Bit of a shame. If I can figure out how to play it better, this might be fun. Considering it came out in 2004, it doesn't really look the part. Textures just very plain and basic, solid colours in a lot of places. You are going around a part of the city, it's very small and enclosed, so you'd have thought they'd have put more detail into things, but yeah, it could be decent enough. I don't think it's a hidden gem for the system or anything like that, but fun enough. Especially if you're in America, you can probably pick it up dirt cheap. If you have to import it, you're going to pay a little bit more, probably pay too much for what it actually is, but I wanted to own it, and now I own it, so I'm happy. Yeah, and I'll definitely go back to it at some point after reading the manual and figuring out what the bloody hell the buttons do. Whee! Okay, let's see, what else? Oh, we'll go with an Xbox 360 game now. The last one that was on my actual want list. Doesn't mean to say I'll never pick up another 360 game in my life. I probably will, it's just there was nothing else that was on my want list. I looked up and researched and knew that I wanted. So finally picked it up, and that is Full Auto. And it's an arcade style racing game with weapons and things. Everyone's got a machine gun mounted onto the vehicle. You can get other weapons and upgrades and things. The racing part seems fun, but obviously every time you're going through the race, it's not a case of if you get blown up, you're done, you're dead. No, you just get blown up and you have to wait like 10 seconds before your vehicle comes back to life and you can continue on. So if you're in last place, you can go behind cars and just blast the hell out of them with your machine gun. They'll explode and you'll get further and further in front. But the second another car's behind you with his machine gun, you're fucked. So yeah, not really balanced in that sense. As soon as you're ahead of another car, you're just going to get blown up. You'd have to be really, really far in front to get anywhere with it. I did not get anywhere with it, but it seems fun enough. It's probably one of those games, again, if you practice, figure out what everything does, you can probably get further into it. So, Full Auto. Whee! And another little addition to my Legend of Heroes collection. It's not even a game, but it is in Japanese, and it is a CD of the radio drama that they produced that I think took place between The Legend of Heroes, Trails from Zero and Trails to Azure, and it kind of fills in the gap of what everybody was doing during that time. Because obviously the SSS split up for a while, people went their separate ways doing different things, so this goes over what everyone was doing. Obviously I don't understand a word of it because it's in Japanese, but the lovely, lovely folks at the Geofront who did the localizations for The Legend of Heroes Trails from Zero to Azure that were amazing and so good, they were made into official localizations and released right here on the PS4 and the Switch and things like that. So yeah, they have a website, the website Geofront. They have a web page specifically for this with the English localization, so you can read through it if you want and find out what happened. Really, really cool, really cheap. Happy with that. Okay, next then, a PlayStation 4 game that I got really cheap a while back in a sale. In fact, I think it's now cheap again in a new sale. It's like £8 odd on the game collection. You'd probably get it for maybe that price elsewhere, I don't know. Just the game collection's where I bought it from, and I know it's cheap again there. And it is Doom Slayers Collection for the PlayStation 4. So this has the new Doom from 2016, not the sequel, unfortunately. So it's got that one on the disc. Great, really awesome, really, really good game. And then there is a download code for the original Doom, Doom 2, and even Doom 3 from the original Xbox days. Yeah, so only one game on disc, unfortunately. The others are downloadable. But you get the main game on the disc, the new one, so that's alright. The other games aren't that big, won't take you long to download. You also get a Doom poster that I'm not opening up because I'll never get it to close back up properly again. And of course the download code in there. And for £8 odd, for 4 fantastic shooter games, you can't go wrong at all. So yeah, really awesome. Whee! Okay. I can't remember if I've already shown this off in a video, so if I have, oh shit, I'm showing it again. So, I don't get that many gaming books, really, because a lot of the ones I want are maybe in America, and while you might be able to get them fairly cheap, once you add shipping to a book, which is a big, thick hardback, you're looking at it being a very expensive item, so I've almost never done it. I think the only one that I've imported from America was the Bitmap Books one on JRPGs. It's like this big, it's huge, it's awesome, and it was well worth all the money I spent on it. So I typically just try and buy from UK people, and one that I've been buying for a few years now, buy all of his books, and that is Chris Scullion. Yeah, so he does gaming encyclopedias for different systems. He's done the NES, the SNES, the N64, the Mega Drive. He's currently working on the Game Boy and Game Boy Color, I believe, at the moment. He's hoping to actually get it technically finished while I'm recording this. He's hoping to have it finished today, all the writing for it, and then it obviously goes off publisher, people check it, blah blah blah, so it'll come out sometime next year. But yeah, the latest release that has come out was the Dreamcast Encyclopedia. And as I've mentioned many times, the Dreamcast is a system I used to absolutely hate. Now I'm a huge fan of it. I've learned to appreciate it for what it actually is, which is a great system for multi-platform games from that time period, from PS1 and N64 games, when they were on the Dreamcast. They were typically much higher quality, higher resolution, and just ran a bit smoother. But of course there are some exclusives that I'm interested in, and I own some of them, and this is great for going through and seeing what I've missed. And it also includes every Japanese game as well, which not really good for me because my Dreamcast cannot play Japanese games. It also cannot play copied games, it cannot play CDs, it can only play official games, unfortunately. But yeah, really, really fun guide. Let's just open up a random page here to something decent. Yep. There we go. Some games there. Don't know how to look on camera, unfortunately. Might have to take a picture. Yeah, so you get a nice big bit of information on the game, what it is, and a fact about it, where it was released, etc. And just on this page here, Headhunter, the game, actually got me inspired to... I picked up Headhunter 2, I think for the original Xbox, was it? Yeah, an interesting 3D... shooting game with a big story and things, and the original was here on the Dreamcast, and then I think it got a PlayStation 2 port. But yeah, so I'm probably going to pick up the Dreamcast version at some point rather than the PS2, just because it's an interesting title. Yeah, so that's that. And oh, I actually forgot something. Yeah. So as well as doing all these Dreamcast encyclopedias, he's also he did a while back a Ultimate Super Mario Run handbook. Yeah, and good luck finding his name on this. It's not on the front or the back. Let's see. Yeah, you have to turn a couple of pages to find out who it was written by, and it was Chris Scullion. Yeah, so I thought it was pretty odd, obviously. You can't buy it new anymore, but it was dirt cheap, only a couple of quid. I thought, you know what, I'll add it to my basket, buy it, and it'll go to my collection for owning all of his books. So, yeah. Oh, and he also did a 3D platforming book as well. Can't forget about that one. Yeah, so I now own all of his books that he's done. And, of course, we'll pick up the Game Boy one when it's released. Oh, finally then, we have some Nintendo Switch games. So, firstly, last year during Dragon Questober, I was very lucky to get the game just in time from PlayAsia. That was a physical version with the English language on it, cartridge of Dragon Quest Adventures of Dai. I say lucky, I got it in time to do the video on, not so lucky because the game is crap. But yeah, I'd ordered it from PlayAsia, and because with how postage and things work from there, it was cheaper for me to get another game and qualify for free shipping than it would have done to just buy the one game and pay for the shipping. So this was the other game that I added, and that is the Super Retro Platform Collection. And this has 4 games in one. We have Commander Keen in Keen Dreams Definitive Edition, which I think was an old computer game from back in the day. It's wonky, doesn't really play that well, can't say I'm a fan of it, unfortunately. But it's here, whatever. Then we have the super duper fun game MacBat 64, which looks like an old N64 platformer where you play as a bat. Yeah, really fun. I already own it digitally on the Switch, but now have a physical version. And of course, from the I think it's from the same person, Tori 3D, a amazingly super duper fun and simple 3D platformer with an emphasis on speed. But unlike the Sonic games, it's actually good. There's also a sequel, and the guy's coming out. There's also Kiwi 64, I believe. I own that digitally as well. And he's coming out with a Saturn 64 game, or something like that. Or is it just Tori Saturn? That might be what I'm thinking of. Basically, it's going to look more like a 3D Saturn game. It's going to be fun. Yeah, so those games are on there. Awesome. And then we also have Regina and Mac, which again, an old school looking 3D platformer. Unfortunately, I got stuck very early with a stupid sliding puzzle. You know those puzzles where it's like a jigsaw, but there's a piece missing. You have to slide things across and get it. I hate those. Stop putting them in games, because I'm never going to complete that without looking up a guide, and I just can't be fucked. So I got to that point. The sliding puzzle was there. I thought, well, I'm done with this game. So yeah, don't put them in. They're shit. Nobody likes them ever. But yeah, other than that, it's just really cool to own, you know, especially those 2 games, MacBat 64 and Tori 3D, on a cartridge. The other 2 were just a bonus, even though they're not particularly great. Yeah, it's just nice to own. Because, of course, we never got this released outside of wherever the hell it came from. Yeah. Yeah, obviously, everything's in English. Yeah. And then we have a game that I picked up in a sale. I was after it for a while. It's a remaster of an old PlayStation 1 title, and that is Pac-Man World Repack. 3D platformer with Pac-Man. It's always interested me. The Nitro Rad videos on it that James did, very, very good videos. It always made me want to play those original games. So then when a remaster was announced, I thought, yep, definitely want to play that. So yeah, it's really fun. A couple of things have changed, obviously, because they don't have the rights to Ms. Pac-Man, so they changed it to something else. I don't know, Madam Pac. I think it's supposed to be technically his mum in the game. I don't really know. His wife, whatever. Yeah, but it's no longer Ms. Pac-Man, so they've changed the design slightly and renamed her. But other than that, it's pretty much the same, just looks nicer and maybe plays slightly better. I'm not entirely sure. Fun game, fun 3D platformer. It's still pretty cheap in a lot of sales now, so definitely go and pick it up. Now for the final 2 games, 2 big hitters for Nintendo coming out at the end of the year. Firstly, we have the remake, remaster, whatever, of Super Mario RPG. A classic title from the Super Nintendo days that people remember so fondly. Unless you're in Europe, in which case we never got the game until the Virtual Console release on the Wii in like 2007, 2008. Yeah, so we didn't get to play this for a long time. I got the Wii version, obviously, many years ago when it came out. I never actually finished it. It was one of those games, I started playing it, I got so far, I think I got literally halfway through to the halfway point. But I was always getting distracted by other games because obviously the Wii was the modern system, new games were coming out all the time for it. It's like, why am I playing a Wii Virtual Console game when I've just got these new 3 games that have just come out for the Wii? So I kept playing new games rather than going to that. My mistake, obviously, because it's a fantastic game. So I'm playing through, and again, I'm at the halfway point now, but I've put it down because I've been playing some other titles. You know, I got a PS5, and a certain new Dragon Quest game might have come out. So, yeah. My version that I bought as well also came with a nice poster, yeah, of... I think it's of the overworld map screen thingy, whatever. Yeah, again, haven't opened it because if I do, it's just never going to go back how it came. So yeah, Super Mario RPG, great way to play an old classic. And lastly, one of Nintendo's finest releases in a long, long time, Super Mario Bros. Wonder. Shockingly, it's wonderful! Yeah, it is a new 2D platformer that is finally very, very good again. The new Super Mario Bros. Games aren't technically bad. They play perfectly fine. You can have some fun with them. The first one on the DS I adored. Then when it came out on the Wii, it's like, okay, this is cool. We got a new version. It's on the big screen now. Play it on a console. That's good. There was multiplayer, which never really cared about that. But then they released 2 more, and they were just basically more of the same. The closest thing we got to a change was a new power-up here or there. This adds some colour back into the Mario world. There's just so much to them now. It looks tremendous, it plays tremendous, it sounds tremendous. The level designs are unique and fun with the Wonder Stars or whatever, the Wonder Mushrooms. What are they called? Wonder Flowers. There we go. Yeah, the Wonder Flowers in each level that just dramatically changes up how the game plays for that level, and every level's different and fun and unique. And then you have the secret world that takes things to the next level. You have all the badges that do different things, so you can change up how you want to play the game. The multiplayer's changed now with the online thing where, they're not actually there with you and you can't interact with them technically. You can't jump on someone else's back when they're not there. I think you can do it like if someone else is a Yoshi and you're playing locally. But other than that, no, you're not going to jump and accidentally hit someone else and bounce away and fall down a hole this time, which is very good. The game was fantastic. I had a blast going through it all. The only thing I've got left to do now, I think, is 2 more Secret World levels, and then I've finished it all, and I've enjoyed every second of it. It's just been absolutely amazing. Yeah. Mine came with sticker sheet. There was about 50 different versions, depending on where you ordered it from. You'll get different things. When I pre-ordered the game, it didn't say it was going to come with anything, so I wasn't bothered anyway. So sticker sheet, whatever. And then, just to add to it, I bought a manual for it. I mentioned it before, I bought quite a few now for Switch games from a particular seller on Etsy. I'll have a link on the screen and down the description below. Fantastic quality. I've got a bunch so far for Switch games. I think I own them all now for all the Switch games that I own. So every time it runs out a new one for a game that I own, I pick it up. So I did that with Super Mario Wonder. So it's just nice to have an instruction manual in the case again, especially for such a fantastic game. Oh, finally, the big box of games has been emptied. Finally shown everything off now. So, like I said, I can start fresh again in 2024. not have to mess about remembering what have I shown off, what haven't I shown off, should that stay there for a while until I get some more games to do a different video, blah 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 blah. Yeah, so I can finally relax, put all the games away and start new. So I'm bigcal, thanks for watching. Let me know down in the comments below what you thought of my massive pickups this month. Well, it's taken months to collect most of these. Let me know what you've got recently, and I'll see you again next time.